Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Merry Christmas. I hope you are having an amazing time with your family, with your friends, people that you love. And to celebrate this special occasion, we are going to have today Greg. Greg is from North Carolina in the USA. So let's see what Greg has to say. Merry Christmas.
Hello, can you hear me?
There we go.
Hey,
There we are. That took a minute.
that's okay. That's okay. Are yourself comfortable? You okay? Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect. So, how are you, Greg?
I'm well. I'm well. Enjoying the hideous weather we have right now.
Amazing. I like your Christmas tree behind. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, 3 days till Christmas. I'm dressed in black.
My goodness, 3 days. Totally right. Do you like Christmas?
I do like Christmas. I do. It's probably one of my favorite holidays, just because of childhood memories.
I see. And how are you going to celebrate Christmas this year?
I will spend it. I've got family that's flying in tomorrow from New York, so they'll stay for 5 days. And then I have family locally, so we'll all meet up, have dinner, exchange presents, and all that good stuff.
You are in charge of cooking or not?
Not so much. I can cook well. It's just everybody else is like, hey, I'll do. And I'm like, oh, you go at it. I supply the helm, so.
Greg, tell me where you're from.
I am from North Carolina in the USA,
Right.
the western part of the state.
Okay. Born and raised?
Yes, born and raised.
I see. And what's the best part of living in North Carolina, in your opinion?
In my area, it's the outdoors. There's hiking trails everywhere. I'm like 2 minutes from the Blue Ridge Parkway, which is a federal owned and operated highway. No charge to go on it or use any of the hiking trails. It links to a lot of national parks like Grandfather Mountain and there's Pisgah Forest. There's everything.
I see. And what do you do for a living, Greg?
I coach rec gymnastics and I work retail. So I work 2 jobs.
So tell me a little bit about both of them.
I started coaching gymnastics because there was a need like in the area. When I was in school, we had different like 6 weeks of training of different things. And my biggest draw was I always went back to gymnastics. We had wrestling, we had basketball, we had football. Soccer wasn't that big at the time. It's better now. But I always like kind of enjoyed gymnastics the most. So when I got older, the area was like it. I don't want to say it regressed, but it really didn't progress. So there was a need for something other than football and basketball because not everyone fit into that. And I looked around in like which I didn't know her well at the time, but she had opened a small like gymnastics clinic. And I ran into her and she was like, hey, would you mind helping out? And I was like, I'd love to. That grew into 100, and I think we had 180 students at max. And we competed for years. And so like it was a much needed outlet for the kids.
I see.
And retail, that pretty much speaks for itself. I work for the nation's largest retailer. So it's a multi-billion-dollar industry of go, 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 buy, buy, buy. It's less interesting.
Greg, before we start our journey within the Magic Box, I would like to tell me something interesting about yourself.
Interesting about myself. Gosh, I'm very boring.
I don't think you are.
Interesting. I guess the most interesting thing is I'm gay, but I have 2 adult children. That most people like read into. They kind of think that it's one or the other, and it's really not. So that's probably the most interesting. Even I find it the most interesting because I love my kids, but not everyone.
I see. Actually, when I was checking your profile, I could see some pictures. You with
Yeah. And I think on Facebook, one of the pictures has me and my youngest daughter in New York, because she's one of the people who lives in New York. So.
Oh, beautiful. And what's the best part of being a dad?
You always think that you're a parent to teach your kids things, but I think as a parent, you learn more from your kids than you teach them, because they put you in positions that you have never dreamed of, good and bad. And you learn from that. They teach you so much that I don't think maybe people who don't have kids are like, it's a complete understanding once you have children, because it's not something you can just walk away from. Mm-hmm. It's 24/7. You have to be there 24/7, and it's a high demand, and it's very rewarding though. So
I see. Amazing. Very good. Are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views?
Sure, let's do it.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So this is my best friend, okay? Random questions. I'm just gonna play a song now just for us to move a little bit before the first question. Let's do it. Okay, Greg, before we start the journey, if comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Amazing. First question for you is, what is the biggest difference between you and your best friend?
Me and my best friend. The biggest difference would be she is a female and I'm a male. Other than that, we're pretty much alike.
And your best friend lives as well in North Carolina?
Yes, yeah. She lives near.
I see. And how long do you know her for?
Probably 20 plus years, for a long time.
Tell me, how did you meet up for the first time? How did it happen?
My best friend?
Yeah.
Work. We worked together.
Oh, I see.
We met at work. To be honest, I wasn't that crazy about her at the beginning. It's kind of like one of those things I had to learn to love her rather. And it was like, once you see her for who she was, she's amazing. So
great. She's gonna be smiling now when she sees the interview, for sure.
Yes, she will be. She has a new man, so she's already like on top of the world.
Oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, whatever.
Next question, let's do it. The next question is, if you met someone sad in the street, yeah, what would be your approach or your advice to this person?
Feeling sad? I think the new thing is just to ask if they're okay, because it's rare. A lot of people are never asked if they're okay. They see the struggle and everybody's always afraid to get involved. So I think it's a big deal now to just those kind of words. Hey, are you okay?
Did it ever happen to you?
I'm sure it has. Like at work and stuff, I'm very like, if my emotions come out of my face. So if I'm, my mom always told me, she's like, honey, don't try to lie, because you can't. Because it's like, I'm very easily read, because if I'm upset, people can see I'm upset.
Wow, good one. Next question, Greg, let's do it. Right, before the next question, tell me what's the biggest joy of working with gymnastics, and what's the most challenging part in your opinion?
Some of the best things is taking someone who thinks they are not capable of doing sometimes anything, because they, even as a child, maybe they're struggling internally, they don't believe in themselves. Taking that kid and showing what's possible just by baby steps is very, very rewarding. One of the challenges is sometimes they get to, like, I always call it the door. Like, they'll get to the door, but they won't walk through it. And that's the part I can't help them do. Like they'll almost have the skill, but they won't push through it to get it. And like that is very frustrating because you kind of watch them suffer without making any headway. And that gets that gets pretty frustrating because I can't encourage them enough at that point. It's a decision that they have to make.
How often do they train? Every day or a few days a week?
I only work 2 days a week now because we don't do competitive. So I just have 2 classes, so it's not as intense. Back when we competed, we were 7 days a week. You trained 4 to 5 days, and you traveled on the weekends competing.
Wow.
So
wow.
It's a commitment, but it's well worth it.
Wow. Okay. Next question is, what did you want to be growing up?
What did I want to be? It changed a lot because I have a problem with sticking with anything. Like I grew up on a orchard and we had a farm, so I was surrounded by the outdoors. So that was one thing I wanted to do when I grew up. I had an uncle who was a preacher. That went through my mind, like, you know, how could it affect so many people? There's a lot. Professional athlete, always there. Don't we all?
When you say your uncle was a priest, you said, or preacher?
Preacher. He's a Southern Baptist. So.
Say again, sorry?
He was a Southern Baptist preacher, which is
I
pretty
see.
animated out there.
I see. And how was growing up as a gay boy in North Carolina?
It was horrible. At a very young age, I was taken by a family member and kind of not like hatefully said to or whatever. Just I had made a comment and I was very young, so I didn't even understand what the comment made. I was just like, you know, hey, these guys make me feel funny, da 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 da. And like later on, nothing was said at that point. There was some sniggers and everything because it was like just close family. And a family member later on took me aside and says, hey, you can't say those things. You can be killed for that. And I was like, what? Because I still, at that point, I mean, I didn't know what sexuality was. I was still a child, you know. I was like, and they was like, don't ever say anything like that and don't ever do anything like that. And I was like, okay. So at that point, I think that was probably a turning point. And I was very young. I mean, I'm talking 5, 6, maybe. I just remember the situation. But at that point, that's when I started kind of studying the guys around me, how they walked, how they acted, what they wore, to make sure I didn't like do anything wrong.
I see. And when you came out, did something happen, or you just felt like, okay, I'm gonna live my true self from now on?
It was kind of like a natural progression because even like I so programmed myself growing up that I really didn't understand where I did fit, because I did find women attractive. I mean, I appreciated their beauty, the way, you know, everybody, you know, looked at them, you know, way that a beautiful woman could come into a room and capture it. Like, I don't know if I was jealous or envious or what, but, you know, it was what it was. So it was kind of a natural progression. As my kids got older, it became an issue because I'm like, these are the most important people to my life, yet I'm lying to them. So that became a huge burden to carry, even though I knew it also could be damaging to them in the area that we live in if I came out. So I slowly creeped out, I guess you would say. I told who I felt I needed to tell. And that was probably one of the hardest things was my children's mother, which has been an awesome, amazing person throughout my life. It's like, you know, hey, you have to do this. You don't want this coming from someone else. And that was the hardest talk I've ever had with anybody on earth my entire life, because I was terrified of losing them, because I knew the area we lived in, they had heard some of the, you know, hate hateful things that are said about people like that. You know, they had friends that were that way, that, you know, got horrible things said to, and they had to be careful going out. So it was a lot that came into it that was kind of terrifying. But I did it. They were cool with it. I think it took them a while to process. So I was just kind of like, here, this is, if you want to talk, you know, because it came up, you know, why are you and mom, why, you know, not together, and it's like, and you know, their mom was like, you're taking that because not me, which it's good because it is my story. It's not her story.
Absolutely. And how old were they at the time when you had this conversation?
How old? Probably middle school, high school. One was oldest was probably in high school, and the youngest was in middle school. And it was, like I said, it was terrifying for me, and I'm sure it was for them in a way, because, you know, I think you see your parents as your parents. You don't really see them as a human until you get older.
Absolutely.
Because that's the way I felt. Like I always see my parents as these superhuman beings that magically done everything perfect, and, you know, and then when you get older and you learn them, you're like, wow, you know, you have some problems.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think when you see your parents as a grown-up person, you see different eyes or more understanding, let's say. And as you said, it can be a risk because you don't know how they're going to react, or how they're going to take the whole information. But yeah, I think some life threw us those challenges for us to face it, to live it, and to, you know, and become reality.
Yeah, I don't regret it at all, and I've grown. They've grown. Like I would like to think it made our relationship stronger, because, you know, now I don't keep anything from them. That was the one thing that I was having to keep from them, and I guess in a twisted way in my mind, I thought I was protecting them, which maybe I was to a certain degree, but I was also protecting myself, which may or may not have been the correct thing to do.
Absolutely. And again, it's like a process as well. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like understanding process.
No, that's a scary thing about, you hear people who get outed and everything. It's such a horrible thing to happen, because everyone needs to do that in their own time. And a lot of people, you know, you hear that argument, well, they're never going to do it. Well, yeah, they will. It may take longer than you want them to take, but it's their journey. It's not your journey to jump into.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks for sharing. Thanks, Greg.
You're welcome.
Next question. Let's do it. Okay, Greg from North Carolina. Next question is, when have you been the most happy?
The most happy. I'm thinking probably at this moment. The only other time I think would be, because now I'm older, I'm settled, you know, I'm not rich, but I can, you know, afford to do things I enjoy. The only thing I think would beat it was like when you're a child, that not knowing all the bad stuff is such a blessing, because, you know, you just run out and you play, you have friends, and you don't know why you're friends. You're just friends. You don't judge them. You don't whatever. They're just friends, you know. I think life gets much more difficult as you get older.
Yeah, for sure. I think as a child, I remember as a child, Christmas took so long to arrive. Our birthday took like an eternity. Nowadays, it just the blink of eyes is another year. I feel like Christmas was yesterday, and now we are again Christmas again. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, it goes super fast. But also, like, I think things being more abundant has like increased that a little bit, because like as a child, we really only got toys at Christmas.
Yeah.
At your birthday, you got a birthday cake. You didn't get a bunch of elaborate gifts. You got a birthday cake and maybe some friends to come over. Then at Christmas, you got your toys. And that's like, you know, when, you know, you didn't go out and buy clothes every day either. You only got clothes when it was school time. So kind of a different thing. So I think we've kind of sped that up.
Do you have siblings as well?
I have one brother. Well, actually, I have one brother, a half sister, and a stepbrother.
I see.
I'm not that close to my stepbrother or my half sister. Just I don't see them often, and I didn't grow up with them. Like, mom passed away when I was younger. Dad remarried. This family come along. Me and my brother was kind of, so I don't have anything against them. It's just I don't know them that well.
I see. Cool. Next one. Let's do it. Right. Before the next question, tell me one of the moments, like through your career, work with gymnastics, someone like one of your students that had a big impact in their career, or practicing gymnastics. There's something that you go like, okay, I will always remember this student for some reason.
I had a lot of those because I had a lot that pulled it out. Like, our big thing here was like when we did state, it was like all the students within the state met, usually in Greenville, North Carolina, which was near the coast. So it was a 7-hour drive for us. But all the gyms bid on it, and whoever got the bid hosts the state. It was kind of like a happy, sad moment for whatever gym got it, because it was like, a huge, kudos to them, but it was also a lot of work hosting that many kids. I think probably my oldest daughter when she was in level 4, and I'm biased because she's my baby, but she was 4th in state this one year, and like she really she didn't have the flexibility to do floor well and beam well, so we had to kind of work around that. Luckily, my business partner at the time was a gymnast as well, so she was like, hey, we can do this. She was feeding ideas, because it's really hard to train your own kid, because you're dad, you're not coach, whatever. You're dad. So it's hard to keep those lines, and there's probably sometimes they probably regret, but anyway, that would probably be my best, because she was like, she went into it kind of okay, and then she really got determination about halfway through the meet, and she came out as 4th in the state, which I'm not going to say that the judges judge differently depending on where you're from, but us being from the western part of the state, we tend to not score as well as other people. So her like beating all odds was an amazing thing.
Okay. Next question for you is, if you could be any age, what age would you choose and why?
If I could be any age, I would probably be early 30s, because I think that's when you've figured out all your BS and you've kind of got to know yourself. You've made a friend base that you can depend on. You have money kind of flowing, or hopefully you do. Your career's kind of starting to level off. You figure out where you fit in. So I think early 30s, maybe 30, 31, 32, those are your perfect years, because that's like you kind of settle.
Aging for you is something that bothers you, or is just numbers?
I think it bothers everyone, but I don't really dwell on it, because I work out 4 to 5 times a week, a minimum of 3 times a week. So I know I can do things that younger people can't do, because I see it. So, it's like, it could be worse. So I'm not, there's a lot of, what is it they say? Youth is wasted on the young. That's very true. Because as you get older, if you had that capabilities, you would be unstoppable.
Okay. Very good. Ready for another one?
Do it to it.
Let's do it. Next one. All right. Next question for you is, if you could meet yourself when you were 15 years old again, what advice would you give to yourself?
I would tell myself to be me, no matter how hard it is, because I chose not to be me. And I regret that conscious decision to this day, because I I wanted to be something other than what I was. And it would have been so much easier just to be my authentic self. And at 15, that's when you're like, oh, you're pressured in, you got to date this girl and you got to have this car and you got to da da da. It's like, I knew it wasn't me, but I would accept it at that time. So I wish I would have accepted more of who I was and went down that road. Things may have been better, they may have been worse. I just think that was a missed moment for me, but it was also a learning moment. So.
And what was the turn point of that when you realized that, okay, I cannot be this person anymore?
It just become such a weight. Like it's a weight you had to carry, and like you had to, I mean, here I was like still in my early 20s, like watching how I dressed, how I walked, how I, and like I've done this my whole life, so it wasn't anything new because I trained myself, like I looked at my cousins, I looked at the people around me, okay, they walk that way. So I literally would go home and like as a child and like practice walking to make sure I walked okay.
Wow.
Because I remember one of our friends, somebody literally said, hey, you walk gay. And he was like, what? And then like, yeah. And like, he was, I don't think he was, I don't know. We grew up and grew apart. But anyway, it was a very conscious thing. It wasn't just a joke. Because like then I was like, ooh. And that was like teenage years. So, and then he approached me later and he's like, hey man, do I really want gay? And I was like, a little bit. I added to it, which is horrible. But, that was that time,
Actually, when he approached you about that, you should say, yes, can I kiss you right now? Imagine.
I'm not going to lie. I had a itty bitty crush on him.
Ooh.
Yeah, I always like, and there was like, we clicked perfectly and there was rumors about us that off and on, but like nothing ever happened. Oh, well. Still.
I think there was some connection there, and I remember as well growing up there's always some connection with boys that even you don't understand much about your sexuality or about feelings, but there was this connection, this genuine connection, isn't it? There's so many, it happens.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's a connection, you don't understand it at all, but you're like, you make me really happy, and you don't know why they make you, they just make you really happy.
Absolutely. Next question, Greg. Let's do it. Okay, Greg. Next question is, what is something not many people know about you?
I mean, I guess probably like I'm probably a touch OCD because I like things organized and together. But if you know me, you already know that. Because I will flip out if I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible, we got to fix it. But that's the matching Christmas tree.
Actually, I was about to say that. That's why your tree looks really tidy. And
if you notice the presents, I don't know if you can see the presents, they match the tree. So
oh, wow.
my presents have to match the tree. So yeah, I go a little bit over on that one.
Tell me one of your biggest pet peeves.
I think rudeness, just the assumption you can talk to somebody a certain way and that you're entitled to it. That's my biggest pet peeve. Is like, just do not be rude. There's a way to say a 1,000 different ways. Don't pick the rude way.
Absolutely. And how you approach the situation, it makes a difference as well, for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
3 questions left for you. Let's do it. Right, we know that this season of the year, December, like end of December, January, people, they make new resolutions. People, it's kind of a new year. There's a lot of expectation as well. Tell me, for you personally, do you tend to set some goals or set some things during this time of the year, or you just take it easy and see how things go?
I've been a part of both. I like New Year's resolutions used to be a bigger thing than what they are now, I think. Mine was always usually circled around training, like I used to do 5Ks, 10Ks, marathons, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to start training earlier. I don't care how cold it is. I'm going to run, 10 mile today. Now I don't so much do that. I take it more, kind of more laid back, I guess. And I've seen this thing the other day, and I don't remember what I've seen it at. It may have been a television show, but anyway, they had a New Year's celebration, and instead of coming up with a resolution, you came up with one word, and that word was for your next year, like, either happy or proud or money, or so, like whatever that one word was, where you were going. Love, love. You say love, but that's really a huge thing,
Yeah, you say love, but depends how you are picturing this love in your head. Saying that there is any word right now that is, let's say New Year starts like soon. Do you have any words so far in your, like, genuinely something comes up or not? You don't need to share. You don't need to share it too.
The only thing that I'm missing is probably someone, and that's not really anything I can, you can wish for it, but you're not going to get it, so that's kind of the only thing missing in my puzzle is somebody. So I may focus more on getting out there because I'm kind of a homebody, but other than that, it is what it is.
Hopefully our second interview of William the Magic Box season 2, this person is going to be by your side during the interview, and you're going to talk about that. You're going to remember this talk.
Okay.
Next question for you is, how long can you go without checking your phone?
I prefer not to check my phone a lot. Both of my jobs are super public, and I live in a small town anyway, so people don't mind to share whatever on their mind about where you work, what you do, da 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 da. So I'm not one to like, I have to check it, or I have to. I used to, I think, be more into like Instagram. I used to like post almost daily and da da da. I rarely post now. You on Facebook, you've seen it's odd. I post like once or twice a year. It's not very often. So I kind of like, I value my time a little bit more now. So when I'm home, I kind of detox, and I literally get yelled at because I have one friend. If he texts you, you're supposed to text him right back. And I'm like, dude, that is not what text is designed for. That's a phone call. If you need that answer right now, that's a phone call. Do not text me because I may not look at my phone, because once I'm home, I'm detoxing because I got to get all that out that don't belong to me.
I like this one. I mean, at home, I'm detoxing. I like that. I'm gonna take these words now for myself.
But with out and about, like, you probably really need like maybe to schedule a time in the day where, okay, this is my detox. I'm letting it all go. Not all of this is mine.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to be honest, doing the interviews for me is like I was thinking the other day, actually, those long days when you are stressed out for some reason, your day is going well as well, but you feel tired physically or mentally. And when I get home, and I start doing the interview, I forget about everything. Literally, I disconnect to here.
Yeah, this is a good therapy. Like, just meet someone you don't know, share things you wouldn't share. It's awesome. That's when you like invited me, I was like, and then I like, I went on and checked it out, and I was like, that's awesome, because you're just random people telling stories about random things. It's
we are making memories right now.
exactly like, it's kind of like a little community now.
Absolutely. Within the Magic Box community, that's how I like to call a beautiful. Welcome to the community, Greg. You are part of it now, officially.
Magic Box community.
Yay! 2 questions left. Let's do it. Right, before the next question, people watching the interview right now, maybe they would like to start a career in gymnastics, or maybe parents they want to, to introduce to their kids gymnastics. What would be your best piece of advice?
Start them early. The earlier, the better. And by
How
early,
early?
I mean toddler, 3-4 years old.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I've trained. I specialized in bars and vault. That's mostly what I taught. My partner trained floor and beam. But, you know, I normally don't do the younger kids because they're learning, at that point, they're learning motor skills, which is a huge help. Even if they don't stick with gymnastics, they learn skills that will help them in anything else, because a lot of kids aren't taught motor skills. Like your mom and dad's just happy you're walking. Yeah, you're walking, you know, and there's like, oh, there's a whole lot more. So yeah, the earlier, the better. And that way it kind of like, if they get like that, they really, really want to do it, they get bit by it, they're buying into it, that way they will be, I mean, you got to look at, you got people, national team now, 16-year-old. So if you're 3, you only got 13 years to train. I mean, and that's going through all of the levels, which is a little bit different than when I did. You have a little bit different structure now than what it used to be. But like, you know, you had multiple levels you've got to go through, and then collegiate, and then maybe you're invited to nationals. So, you know, there's a lot of work goes in there.
And for you working, you know, as a gymnastic, do you see like the signs when they're going to be really good, or they can carry on a long career? Can you see that like early age, or it takes time?
I have been in it quite a while. I can recognize a body type and tell you how far they can go, because there's certain body types that are just designed for it. Designed. There's a little guy that goes to the local gym that I work out in, and like every time I'm seeing him, I'm like, dude, you missed. I mean, I haven't told him to his face, but I'm thinking, I did tell my daughter, I was like, that little guy, and she told me who his name was, I don't remember. But anyway, I was like, that little guy was born to be a gymnast. I don't know where he was, but he should have been in, because he has the perfect build for it. Like, you don't, it's a body type, like, you know, like a basketball player, if you're, you know, 4'7", you're probably not going to make professional, you know. So it's the same thing with gymnastics. There are certain body types that, you know, really, really do well at it.
All right. Next question is, what season of the year you feel more connected with, and why? No, sorry. Let me try that again. I think I said it wrong. What season you feel more connected with, and why?
Season. I am a summer baby. I like summer all the way. When everybody's fussing about that 95-degree weather, I'm out in my shorts mowing my yard, enjoying the crap out of it. I love summer. I love going to the coast. I love hanging out. Love going hiking in the summer. Like, I'm definitely a summer person. It's supposed to be the next 3 days is supposed to be single digits and below zero here, so I am not going to enjoy this at all.
Is your birthday around summertime?
Yeah, my birthday's in July. It's the first day of July, so I'm a summer baby all the way around.
Ready for the last one?
Yep, shoot it.
Last question. Okay, but before the last question, tell me so far, what is the most beautiful lesson you've learned from your kids?
The most beautiful lesson? I think love transitions all. Like, it's like there's no end to the love. Like,
who's there? Who's that beautiful cat?
Come here.
Oh, it's a dog. It's a dog. How cute.
My dog. You probably see me look over, and like I tapped her a minute ago because she was whining. I was like, you know, this is Chessie.
Hi, Chessie. Chessie. How old is Chessie? How old?
She's 4.
Oh.
Yeah. I got her like kind of like a rescue. Like, she was in a rough kind of situation, and they called me, and it was like, hey, do you want this? And I was like, oh, I just got I had one, and then I lost it, and it was horrible. And, you know, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready. And then I found her, and it was the best decision ever. She's the best puppy ever, aren't you?
Send her to me. Can I grab her a little bit? Oh,
very much a people person. I thought she would be up here in my lap like a whole lot faster than what she was, because she likes everyone and she wants to investigate everything. So
Beautiful. Sorry, I interrupt you. I interrupt you in your answer. So you're saying about the biggest lesson you've learned from your kids is the love, the care, you said.
Yeah, it transcends to like people love, and like before I had my kids, the only love I knew was with my parents, and you think that is the most crazy love ever, because like we discussed earlier, they do no wrong. Your parents are like, oh, these mythical beings who feed you, clothe you, do all this, make everything work, and you have no concept of bills and what all they're going through. Then you have children, and it's a different kind of love. It's a love that's stronger than any other love, because you will literally do anything for that kid. You will like do without, you'll go hungry, you'll do whatever it takes to make sure the kid succeeds. That's one reason, like the gymnastics thing was like, I wanted them to have that avenue because I knew I enjoyed it and it wasn't here. So that kind of, pushed me a little bit more to, get it going, get it up. We were like, the program started off in a loft of a building, and like we couldn't really even do bars because the ceiling was too low. Couldn't do vault at all because you didn't have a run path. Then we moved to this old tin building beside, and it was a slow progression, but it ended up being so magical and beautiful. Like, it was a big part of their life, their entire life. So, and then, it led to scholarships for them going into college. It helped so many ways. Like, I have so many fond memories of that.
Sweet. Last question for you is, I think this one we already talked about, but let's see. What's your favorite holiday season of the year?
That is Christmas. And reason being, I came from a huge family. Like, both my mother and my father had 8 siblings.
Wow.
And they all had children. So we all met at my grandparents. So there was 8 kids with their partners, with all their kids in a house. Yes.
Wow.
And they snowed, so they could send us outside and we could play in the snow. But anyway, I miss, like, we all ate. There was some exchanging of gifts, but everybody got, it's not like now you have to get somebody a PlayStation. Like, it was just some kind of little gift, that you would get. Like, but the magical thing was everybody would bake, everybody would cook. There was food for miles, and everybody ate, and we all got to play. Like, I didn't get to see my cousins, but usually twice a year. That would be summer and in the holidays, because they live far away. So most of us didn't get to see each other except at Christmas time. So, and I had some cousins I really, really enjoyed playing with, and, we got along, and it was like, we couldn't wait to see each other. And back then that was before cell phones and internet and all that. So you really didn't see them. So, you seen them, they changed, they got taller, who got bigger, is all this, and sharing stories from school. And that's what I miss, is like the family time. I don't think in today's culture we really get to do that as much. And it's kind of sad, because that is a huge plus my memories.
Amazing. Yeah, I think nowadays Christmas became a bit more commercial. People, it's all about buying, It's still beautiful because people still have this, way of giving, but somehow it became a little bit more material. I don't know how to explain, but I think that's in a way.
Yeah, and like with the growth of the world, like people are farther away now. It's not as convenient, like everybody's global now, so it's hard to get everyone, together. So look at you and I, like doing this took what, a week just to try and organize and get it straightened out. So it's like, it's a lot.
Amazing. Okay. It's not the end yet. Okay, let's play now the word association game. I'm going to give away some words, and just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay?
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Let's see.
So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much, and enjoy the word association game.
let's start with religion. One word.
Religion. I'm trying to be politically correct. Restriction.
Okay. How about politics?
Evil.
One word for life.
Love.
Sex.
More.
Ooh. Family.
Remember, I'm single. Family. Wonderful.
Money.
More also.
Okay. Love.
Love. An extra helping of that would be great. So more and more.
Okay. Fear.
Illusion.
Friendship.
Needed.
Desire.
Purpose.
Regret.
Useless.
Success.
Success for everyone. Happiness.
And one word for happiness.
I know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to figure out the word that encompasses it all. Happiness. Family.
Okay. You know what? I knew you would say that for some reason. When you were saying you're looking around, I thought to myself, you're going to say family. Oh my God. It's a Scorpio intuition. My star sign is a Scorpio.
I told you I can read. Oh, I can't hide any emotion. I'm easy to read.
You are easy to read, and I'm easy to kind of have this intuition. So it match very well.
Yeah.
One word for wish.
Wish. Luck.
One word for North Carolina.
One word. Diversity.
One word for USA.
Hope.
One word for Christmas.
Magical.
And the last one now, gymnastic. One word.
Train.
See. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your kids for a coffee, and I'm going to ask them, tell me the most beautiful thing about your dad, and tell me something that he still needs to work on, to improve on. What they would say?
Probably that I'm always there, no matter morning, noon, or night. And the thing I probably need to work on is my temper.
Ooh.
Yeah, some people get off pretty fast, and it's like this opens, and I say more than I should.
Interesting. Right.
But in my defense,
sorry.
I said defense, they started it.
Let's play now, Greg, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. Okay, you can ask me a question now, Greg.
What is one thing you had to overcome in your childhood to be where you are now?
Wow, good question, actually. Right, I think, okay, the first thing that came to my mind is, I think I'm still, believe it or not, I'm quite shy. I'm very shy person, believe it or not, I'm very shy. And when I was a child, I think when you mentioned during the interview that you liked your own space, like you like to be, you don't go out very much, you have this, you know, and as a child, for some reason, I had this bubble as well. Actually, I was quite popular with kids. I loved being around kids. I loved being with, you know, friends. But at the same time as well, I loved being in my world, this bubble. That's I like to spend some time on my own, and I still do that, and I like it. I love it. And sometimes it can be a problem, like you said. When you said that, I picture myself as well, because you need to be out there, you need to be visible, or, you know, available. Like, I don't know, but it's so nice to enjoy your own company. But I'm saying that because as a child, for me, I think that made me, as a shy person, a lot of insecurities I had as well with like, you know, I wouldn't say with myself as well, with myself, with my personality. At the same time, you know, I was very easy to be around people, but I felt very insecure. And nowadays, I think I changed a lot about that. You know, nowadays I realized those insecurities that I use then as a power for my way of living or connect with people, you know, because at the time for me was a bit, I felt like I was different. I felt like I couldn't fit, you know, the tribes, or, you know, I wasn't very popular or anything. Even though I was very, I had a lot of friends, I always been involved with them. I never had any problem of being, you know, apart. But I don't know, for some reason, I felt that I was different. And sometimes I could understand why. And that insecurities or those feelings that I had at the time, I think it makes, sorry, when I look back, I think it made me special somehow. And nowadays, I feel special because I had those insecurities and overcome of them, because now makes me, let's say, more confident, even though being shy is still here. You know, I'm very shy, but at the same time as well, I think it's a positive thing. It's a charming. It's something that's when you overcome about something, it becomes something beautiful. It becomes something powerful. And I think that's that those insecurities that I could understand or I couldn't fit in certain ways. Nowadays, I see those things as a gift. It's something that I enjoy and something that I'm grateful for sure.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. It's so funny because, like, as a child, like, I always had friends. I always had a friend base. I was always involved.
Yeah, yeah.
I played sports. I usually wasn't the first one picked, but, you know, whatever. But I can remember my mom coming and looking for me because I would be playing by myself. And she'd be like, "What are you doing? Where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm here." And she's like, "Why don't you go play 10 pounds?" I'm like, "I don't want to." You know, I've always needed that. And this is today. And it, it's hard for a lot of people to understand. Like, I need that me time, like,
Yeah.
just, you know, just to be with me.
It's so interesting you said about your mom as well, because actually I was playing volleyball for years. Like, I was training every single day and I loved it. Volleyball was a passion, you know.
Oh, volleyball, the best. You ever played it on the beach? Do you
Actually,
remember,
I
like,
never. No, I was playing yeah, never.
and we used to go to the beach, like, on vacation and everything, and there would just be random nets set up along the beach, and you would just meet people and play volleyball, and it was, oh my God, it was awesome. I loved it. I miss it so bad.
I started playing volleyball when I was 11 years old, and I stopped when I was 18. When I actually before I tried to go to university, and I moved to Portugal when I was 19. Then when I stopped, because I was training every single day. I was traveling a lot for school, for my city as well. Like in some games, like a lot. I was traveling a lot. And for me, it was lovely, it was amazing. At the same time as well, sometimes my mom was telling me, you feel, she was calling me this, it's like in Brazil, we have this animal that's, you know, he got like, it's like a turtle, but he got something where he hides himself. And sometimes she was making a joke with me. She was like, oh my God, you look like this animal because you should be out, you should be there, because I was always on my, you know what I mean, on my bubble. And I remember she's saying that to me. And when I look back, she was right, actually. I was literally in this bubble, like I couldn't get out of it, you know, somehow it was a safe place to be there. When I was playing volleyball, it was like I was feeling the most confident person in the world, you know, I was feeling so confident and connect with, you know, playing together with my friends. But when the game finished, the thing finished, I was going back to my, not all the time, but most of the time when I felt myself, my true self. I like those, you know, that's when I could feel myself.
Yeah. Exactly what.
Absolutely. Greg, so before you go, actually, this interview is going to go live on Christmas Day. I think we talked a lot about Christmas, and I think it's going to be, yes. And I could see your passion as well, talking about Christmas. And I think that's our interview meant to be today. So before you go, I always ask my guests to share a positive message, a positive quote. But because today is Christmas, if you can, I don't know, say a message like for people spending Christmas today, what would be your message to those people around the world?
Christmas, like to me, it's family, and that's what it means. It's not about the gifts. It's not about the Christmas tree. It's about the time with family. And like, I think it's hugely important to stop and take that moment. It's just like the question you had earlier, like if you found somebody upset, you know, at that moment, you can ask your family, are you okay? Because you've probably been so busy, you haven't asked them if they're okay. So, you know, your kid may be struggling, you know, your spouse may be struggling. This is, you know, hey, are you okay? You know, and you're having a nice meal, so it's a safe area. And like going back to also to kids, like a lot of children are dismissed as, oh, they're children. I think they're our largest resource of knowledge because you can learn so much for them. I know you see a lot of stuff on TikTok and everything else of bashing millennials and Gen Z and whatever. Our children are our future, and no, they don't do what we did, but that's a good thing, you know, like we're progressing. And, you know, some of our best ideas are going to come from our youth. So I don't think we should, you know, just sweep them to the side so easily.
Amazing. Thanks so much. Wish you a Merry Christmas to you, to your kids, to your family, and I hope you have a wonderful time. Okay, enjoy this festive time of the year, and thanks so much for the interview. It was a pleasure connecting with you. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Happy holidays to everyone. I hope they enjoy it and have a magical time.
Amazing. Thank you so much, and keep in touch. Okay, Greg. Enjoy your time. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much. Bye.
Take care. Bye bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.